Once upon a time, I made my first 10-page manga, and a couple months later, my very first animation. Over the time, I developed an absolute passion for these two, and despite them being an absolute demon when it comes to working hours, especially doing manga, I had the great idea of merging them. To top it all off, I will not animate just any manga panels, but the ones from my all-time favorite manga series, Berserk. After browsing through the volumes and searching for the perfect manga panel, I decided to go for something less iconic, simply to avoid spoilers and the abnormal amount of violence. Nonetheless, I feel like these panels are challenging enough without going too overboard with the workload, yet at the same time have some amazing key moments. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time to put on the glove and dive straight into it. Because I'm still so new to animation, I don't know my limits yet or how long certain projects will take. So first things first, let's give this some structure. I aim to keep it sketchy, so not a fully rendered animation, simply because I only have 7 days. And for me personally, I don't want it to look super crisp and rather focus on movement and action to bring it alive the best way possible. The first sequence I want to make is a frontal shot of the smith inspecting the berserker armor, and as always for further reference I just take a picture, or in this case a video of myself. I made a video of myself for each sequence and hopefully I'll be able to convey everything I want in the faces of the characters. Overall I have to do a little over 120 frames, and considering that I have to do all this in 7 days, it feels pretty much impossible. For now I'll just continue keeping everything rough just to help myself getting an overview over the whole thing, and whether I'll do some clean line art or not, I'll just figure out as I go. Alright, it's nighttime, 9:30 p.m. I made some pasta and I think this is the perfect opportunity to talk. I just feel like after talking about all these problems in my recent videos and views on life in general, that I could implement some of that in a more personal way in these videos. I want to mix a little bit of a vlog into it and tell you about my day and what happened and etc. But not dwell too much on it, you know, keep the majority or the focus on the cinematography. I just feel like it's important to talk about your emotions, not just for yourself, but also for other people. The person that views this video, for example, you know, maybe they feel very similar, and through that they have a sense of understanding, that somebody understands them and therefore kind of eases their discomfort or suffering. It's just so difficult to keep up with the pace because I kind of have a schedule where I post every second week, and on one of those weeks I basically draw, and on the other week I make the video. And I'm not even like a big YouTuber with big projects or anything like that. I'm just a random guy trying to make quality videos and keep up with the schedule, but I can't. Basically, I work all day and try to fit in my social life somehow into this schedule like that. It's frustrating when you only have this much time and this much energy, but it literally forces you to prioritize certain things, and it hurts sometimes to say no to people. Except my girlfriend, I will never say no to you. There's something I do have to say as well, is that if there's somebody you rarely spend time with, and usually when you spend time with them, it's quality time, I would never say no to those people. That's, I think, the advice I would give to you, random person. Because perhaps you or that person might die the next day. Very perhaps. Or maybe you're never gonna see each other again. And you'll always be able to work. Like, always. But spending those quality times with those certain people might not happen again. And remember, rest is important. No matter how important work or staying up to the schedule is, you only have one life.
Alright, so I had like 6 hours of sleep because I was playing League of Legends till midnight. I don't know how that happened, but basically I gotta get ready for work now, and once I'm back, continue with the animation.
Working on a Saturday in a grocery store in Germany is like working a day before the apocalypse. Anyways, today it's time to fix our broken grandpa. I finished around 12 frames yesterday, quote unquote finished. The main problem I had was the anatomy around the shoulders. My brain kind of wasn't braining anymore, so I ended up giving him a pair of circles. I want to focus on fixing grandpa number 1 first, so I can continue using his face in the next frames to save time and maintain quality. Alright, it's 7:30 p.m. I finished the 27 frames of the Dwarven Smith. The problem is the way I made these frames is by copy pasting the previous frame onto the next frame and then adjusting it. As you can see, I was a little bit lazy. So, despite being absolutely done with life, I will go over these 24/7 frames individually and just increase the movement overall. Just for those who didn't watch my first video, just a couple of weeks ago I learned how to animate, and this right now is my second proper project. So what do we learn from this? Don't be like me. Sometimes when I'm lonely. Why would you... Seriously? Brother, have you seen the time? It's 10 o'clock. Now get your out of bed. We got some work to do. 10 o'clock? I can't be behind the alarm for 9. How about that? You missed that one. Wait. How do you know? Well, I was sitting here watching. You're saying you watched me miss my alarm instead of keeping me awake? So you can pour water on my head an hour later? Jimmy, it's called discipline. And you, my friend, like a bunch. I can't believe this. You know what? It's Sunday. Let me rest up, for God's sake. You do you, King. Jimmy, you mother... Can you believe this guy? I cannot argue about the importance of sleep and rest. Especially not with an imbecile like you. Then why are you out here doing a bunch of squats in the morning? Well, unlike you, I was not playing Stardew Valley until 2 a.m. and had actual discipline. Also, do not mock my exercise because it is the next best thing to sleep and rest, and you, my friend, could benefit a lot from it. I gotta say, for the first time, you don't sound like an idiot. Though, don't you think you've done enough squats for the next 17 years? I have warned you not to mock me, and now you shall feel my wrath fall upon your head. What the f... When did she... Oh, Lord. Vengeance. Anyways. It's time for the superstar of today's video. This is going to be my first time animating somebody talking or like moving their lips. And I could watch a bunch of tutorials, but I don't know why. I really don't want to do that and kind of just try for myself to see what works and what doesn't. Alright, I'm done with the lip movement. I think it turned out fairly decent considering it's my first time doing it. We're moving closer and closer to the climax of the animation, which is the Smith hammering on the Berserker armor and through that unleashing its powers. I have to note that I'm not very proud of the beginning, which is why I'll probably go over it if I still have time at the end of the 7-day period. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to fix it to my satisfaction. Bro, I am so tired, man. Alright, this is going to be by far the hardest part of the animation because the camera is moving behind the Smith as he's going for the armor with his hammer. And to be honest, I kind of want to focus on it without having to record from 17 different angles and having to come up with a bunch of different shots. Now I think it would be quite redundant for you to watch me animate all this stuff, so I'll just skip it for you. So, it's 3 days later, I finished the animation and I had a little teeny tiny oopsie happen to me. Now when I was doing the scene when the dwarf was swinging his hammer, I wanted to adjust his arm. I used the select tool, circle around the arm, and started adjusting it, and I noticed somehow my program is lagging a lot. I couldn't do anything. It was loading and loading and loading, so I saved the file and I closed it. And then when I opened the program again, I noticed that when I was using the select tool, I did it on the camera layer. And then I noticed that Guts was looking like a little bit off. Now, how should I put this? I didn't know that when you use the selection tool or whatever, and you do it on the camera layer, it applies to your entire animation. I was like, this close to losing my mind. But then I was like, hey, whatever. Who cares? I think 1 or 2 scenes are gonna be a little bit off as to how I had them before, because unfortunately I did not save those. But I tried to fix them as best to my ability as possible. I think my first animation was better, but it also was like a lot easier, like a lot. Though I think this one is particularly funny because there's going to be one scene where Guts is going to look like... I think you'll know it when you see it. So yeah, overall it was fun. The animation is cool. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed me venting and being deep. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to try and implement a little bit more of vlog elements into my videos. And yeah, with that being said, truly thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.